This is Into Sports. I'm Evan,
I'm Neelay.
and today we're here to talk NFL. All right, and the question of the day for today, presented to us by Chris. Thank you, Chris. 3 teams that will get better over the next 5 years.
Well, my first team is the New York Jets because they added Le'Veon Bell, adding a running game to their offense. They added C.J. Mosley and Quillian Williams, adding on to Jamal Adams in their defense. And their defense was ranked 25th or 26th, I'm not sure, but they were pretty low last season, and this year they will be much better because of their new additions.
All right, so for my first team, I'm going to go with the San Francisco 49ers. I love their head coach, Kyle Shanahan. Quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo coming back from the ACL injury. They added a lot of weapons on offense, upgraded at the depth at the running back position. Dante Pettis, a guy I really believe in at the wide receiver.
I love him too.
Yes, you do. And that defense, yeah, I worry about the secondary. Sherman's the only really reliable piece they have back there, and he's aging. But when you look at their defensive front, how much they upgraded it, Nick Bosa, D Ford, you have Quan Alexander at the linebacker position. This defense should be a lot better, although a weak secondary, and I like their offensive play caller and weapons.
Yeah, they added a lot to their defense and in free agency this year. So my second team is the Detroit Lions. I like the Detroit Lions because they're getting used to Matt Patricia's offense, and they have carry on, obviously.
Yeah, I say he's pretty good.
Yeah, and they added Trey Flowers to their defense, and I think they're going to develop into a really good team in the next 5 years.
And we have to remember, Matthew Stafford is a very competent quarterback. Marvin Jones missed a few games at the end of the year, just like Carrion did. Their offense was weak after Golden Tate. But with Galladay and Marvin Jones, they have the good wide receivers on the outside. I think that offense is going to be a lot better, and they added pieces on the defense like Trey Flowers. I agree with that.
And I think it was Golden Tate who said that Matthew Stafford was the best quarterback he's ever played with.
Yeah, but that's baloney. Russell Wilson's a lot better. Let me go to my second team. It's the Cleveland Browns. I mean, we know what they did personnel-wise. Now, I'm not sure if I buy these really high expectations because of first-year head coach Freddie Kitchens. I don't know how he's going to lead all these egos in the locker room. But when you look at this roster that's going to be over the next 5 years, Baker Mayfield, young quarterback, a young star, I'm going to say. He reminds me a lot of Drew Brees in the way he plays. And that's coming from a Drew Brees GOAT, guy who thinks that. You have Odell Beckham, who you traded for. I mean, he's one of the best top 5 wide receivers in the National Football League. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt. There's too many weapons for them not to be good. And they upgrade on the defense. They draft a guy who I really like in Greedy Williams at corner to go alongside Denzel Ward. They have too many young pieces. Youngest roster in the league and a lot of young talent.
Yeah, I think they're going to be a problem when Jarvis Landry is their wide receiver too.
Yes.
Yeah. My third team that I think is going to improve is the Arizona Cardinals. And I think this because they drafted Kyler Murray, who I think is going to develop into a young star.
I would agree with that.
Yeah, and he's better than Lamar Jackson.
Yes.
I like all the young wide receivers they have. Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, Hakeem Butler. And I think they're going to be really good with Cliff Kingsbury as their head coach.
You a believer in Cliff?
Yes, I am.
Wow. I mean, I'm not against him. I don't think he's qualified for the job. But that offense is going to be interesting.
What's your third team?
My third team, it's the next dynasty. It's the Indianapolis Colts. We have the second best quarterback in Andrew Luck and the guy who should be the MVP next year, although Baker Mayfield's going to win it because he's going to have the storylines. Oh, that's another episode. But Frank Reich, excellent head coach. 49ers and Colts, 2 of my 3 teams, have really established play callers on offense at the head coaching spot. You have young weapons like Paris Campbell, who I love out of Ohio State, as a slot guy, can take a 5-yard slant to the house. T.Y. Hilton, an established outside receiver. Now their secondary, just like with the 49ers, not that great. They re-signed Pierre Desir, their best corner, which was good. But Darius Leonard, young star at linebacker. Quentin Nelson. I mean, this offensive line is top 5 in the league, and that's so important in nowadays football. They can get the running game going with Marlon Mack. And Andrew Luck, running game, offensive line, that's a tough combo to beat.
Yeah, as you say, you got to win the battle in the trenches before you have to win anything else.
Absolutely. I mean, this offensive line, it's absolute top notch. And they're kind of middle-aged. These teams are going to get better for the next 5 years. But Colts, I see them hitting their prime right now. And 5 years, I think they're still going to be a Super Bowl caliber roster.
Okay, let's move on to our next segment.
Yes, yes. Next segment, introducing this to the podcast. I call it What You Got? Because I ask a question and I ask you guys, what you got? So first one, do you pay, if you're Jerry Jones, do you pay Zeke or Amari Cooper? What you got?
I definitely pay Zeke. Amari Cooper is very inconsistent in his games. And when you look at what the Cowboys can do with Zeke, without Zeke, it's almost nothing. I mean, their offense doesn't even function without Zeke.
I'm going to have to totally disagree here because I know what we saw. I'm paying Amari. I know what we saw without Zeke those 6 games a few seasons ago. But Dak, he didn't have enough weapons. And offensive lineman Tyron Smith was out in that same period of time. And he was getting pressured up the left side. Gets sacked, I think, 6 times by one player on the Falcons. I mean, it shows the importance of the offensive line. Not only Zeke, I think Alfred Morris, Tony Pollard, Mike Weber, Darius Jackson can get it done if needed behind a really good offensive line with all their pieces back. Travis Frederick coming back at center position from his injury. But Amari is a great outside receiver, and it's a passing league. I know Zeke can catch passes, but we saw them go 3-4 before Amari and 5-2 once Amari got there. I see him as too valuable of a weapon. He can go off for 214 yards in a game. I know he can kind of get shut down, but in the games that he gets shut down, they're running the ball, they're playing great defense, and they don't really have to score 40.
Well, I know it's a passing game, but you can't have a passing game without a running game.
Yeah, but behind this elite offensive line, I mean, we're talking top 3 in football, right? I think anybody can get it done. And you disagree, I guess.
Yeah.
All right, next one. Who will win the AFC North? The Browns or the Steelers? Or you could say other, but most people say Browns or Steelers. What you got?
I got the Browns. You want to know why?
Why?
Because it doesn't matter how many receivers that won't get the touches or the catches. It matters how Baker Mayfield does. And I think with all those weapons, Baker Mayfield is going to do great. And he's going to carry that team to a playoff run.
I have to disagree again. It's the Pittsburgh Steelers. Old, reliable. Ben Roethlisberger is still a top 10 quarterback in my book. James Conner and Juju Smith-Schuster will get the job done. I know people see the departure of Antonio Brown and say, oh, Steelers are dead. Dynasty over. They're going to be not a playoff team anymore. But they were a fringe playoff team last year. They almost made it. Close games against good teams. They went down to New Orleans to play a really good squad. Held them to the end until there was a fumble by Juju Smith-Schuster, and the Saints controlled that game. This is still a really good team. And I don't want to discount what Ben Roethlisberger can do, what Mike Tomlin can do. It's really addition by subtraction, which sounds weird, but because you're taking away Antonio Brown. Lev Bell didn't play for them last year, so I don't consider him a loss. But you draft Devin Bush in the first round to fill the Ryan Shazier role. He was so good when he was before that, tragic injury. But they didn't have someone commanding the middle of the defense. They trade up to number 10 to grab Devin Bush out of Michigan, and I think he can be that guy to restore the defense.
Well, I don't think Juju Smith-Schuster is going to be good because he is...
So Juju's not going to be good now? So he's not good?
He has never played wide receiver 1. He has, but he hasn't done well.
Whoa. Hold the phone. In the games Antonio Brown was out, Juju was also lights out in his career. Check it. All right, let's move on to the next one.
Okay.
Who has the better odds to return to the Super Bowl? The Patriots or the Rams? What you got?
The Patriots.
I have to go the same way.
Okay. I thought you were going to disagree with me again.
No, not again. But, they play in the AFC East. It's too easy. They're going to win the division. They're going to get a first-round bye, home field advantage in the second round. We know what Bill Belichick can do with this roster.
Yeah, I don't care if anyone says that Rob Gronkowski's out and now they're not going to do good. They have Tom Brady and Bill Belichick, mostly Bill Belichick.
Yes, mainly.
Yes, and the Bill Belichick can out-scheme anyone, and I mean anyone.
Yes, he dominated. The Rams had the better players in the Super Bowl, but the Patriots won the game because they had the better coach. It was an embarrassment on the part of Sean McVay. He was out-schemed. It was just true X's and O's. The best coach for the Rams that day was Wade Phillips, the defensive coordinator. No, serious. It was very clear cut. So how about we go to the next one? If you're Jerry Jones, once again, we're jumping into his shoes. Would you give Dak Prescott a $30 million extension, 30, 32 million, whatever it's going to take? Or would you let him play out the year and let him enter free agency?
Well, this was a tough one for me, and I still don't know. Because Dak Prescott, as you said in your last video,
Yes, 2 videos ago.
2 videos ago, you said that Dak Prescott doesn't elevate his weapons.
He
His
doesn't.
weapons elevate
Absolutely
him.
not.
But I don't think it's a big risk to take trying to find a quarterback in like the next 2 years because they have all those players to re-sign. But also giving Dak 30 plus million is a lot of money for that type of player.
Yeah, I mean, so what is your final answer?
You have to convince me.
Okay.
I don't know.
Like I said, I'm going to go over this briefly because I did a full episode on it. If you want to check that out, check out the channel 2 videos ago. But Dak does not elevate his weapons. His weapons make him. We saw when Amari Cooper came in, they start winning games, the production goes out through the roof. You know, when Zeke was out, his production was just awful. It looked gross. And when you bring Zeke back, he looks like, a franchise quarterback again. So I'm not going to give $30+ million to a guy who can't elevate his weapons. And the thing is, you let him play out the year. Maybe he doesn't have a great year. Then you can give him $20 million, $25 million, which I would do. Or you draft a first-round rookie quarterback. There's guys like Tua Tagovailoa, Justin Herbert, this kid out of North Texas who looks really good, forgetting his name, which is an embarrassment. But I think you can draft a rookie, trade up. Let's say you trade away Jalen Smith in your first-round draft pick for a top 5 pick and get a quarterback. If that's a quarterback of your future, he has a much higher ceiling than Dak, and that's how you get a championship roster. So if you're an NFL team watching for some reason, just look out for me, hire me as a general manager, and we can win some championships together, all right?
Yeah, Evan's a really good general manager.
Yep. So, all right, we're going to go to our final segment. It's the draft. Today we're going to be drafting teams that will disappoint in 2019, and we're going to do a coin flip for the first pick. We'll each be taking 3 teams. Neelay, heads or tails?
Tails.
It is heads, so I get the first pick. My first team, I know you didn't want the first pick, but it's not a snake draft, so it doesn't actually help you. So, there's a few teams I'm thinking about here, but I'm actually going to go with the Cleveland Browns. And it's because I think the expectations are Super Bowl expectations for the city of Cleveland, and I see them winning 9 games, potentially making the playoffs as a wild card, but not dominating, not getting deep in the playoffs, and not winning the division. And I think that's what the expectations are.
See, I knew you were going to pick the Browns. That's why I didn't want first.
Well, actually, I wasn't going to pick the Browns until I decided at the last minute.
Oh, okay. Well, with my pick, I'm going to pick the Seahawks.
That's what I was thinking about them, okay?
Okay, I picked the Seahawks because the Legion of Boom is now completely gone. Bobby Wagner is the only one left. Russell Wilson has only Tyler Lockett to play with.
Yeah, and he signed a big contract, so there's going to be and their defense is weak and doesn't have a great pass rush. Secondary's weak.
Yeah, with all those players gone to different teams, I don't know what will happen. And also, Chris Carson, I don't know if he's going to be reliable enough.
All right, so I'm going to make my second pick, and I'm going to take the Rams. Back-to-back picks in the division by us. Now, the Rams made it to the Super Bowl last year, and I see the 49ers actually winning this division. And I still see the Rams making it as a wild card, but I really believe in San Francisco. I think the Rams will regress to about 10 games. I think I'm not going to overreact to what I saw in the playoffs and at the end of the year, but I think people are starting to figure out the Sean McVay offense. Todd Gurley dealing with arthritis in the knee. I do believe in Darrell Henderson, although I don't believe in his pass blocking. So it's going to be a slight issue. They have weapons. And their defense, they lost Ndamukong Suh, who was helping them late in the year. And I don't know. I just see some regression.
My next pick is the Cowboys. And I picked the Cowboys because, as I said earlier in the show, I think that the Cowboys do bad with Zeke off. And with his holdout, I don't think that he's in the type of situation that Le'Veon Bell was in last year. And that Le'Veon Bell situation, it didn't really affect the Steelers because they had James Conner. But the next best running back on the Cowboys now is Alfred Morris. And with their running game gone, I don't think that they can do much.
Okay, I don't hate it. But I'm gonna go with another controversial pick. I'm gonna go with the Kansas City Chiefs. I know some people are listening to this if you're this far in the video, which probably no one is, so it doesn't even matter anyway. But you look at you say, see our Browns, Chiefs, and Rams. What did you just draft the Super Bowl teams? But no, because Patrick Mahomes is gonna quote unquote return to Earth, even though I don't think he was that high up in the solar system, anyways. And I see a lot of regression from his touchdown rate. It was about 8%. That should drop 3%, which will cut his touchdowns down to about 35. And this defense still isn't good. I know they may have got better, and you say, well, they did all this with a bad defense last year. And yes, they did. But I still don't believe you can win a Super Bowl with a terrible defense, like as bad as they do. I think you can win it with a meh defense, but not with an atrocious defense, and I think that's what they still are. Changing defensive coordinator to Steve Spagnuolo, I think that could help. But offensively, lost Kareem Hunt, and I think that their offense, Mahomes' efficiency, it all started to go a little bit downhill once Kareem Hunt was suspended. So I'm going to take them. I see them winning about 10 to 11 games, and the Chargers winning that division.
Incoming angry Chiefs fan.
Yes, a lot of angry fans, but I like to anger the people. Feel free to drop a dislike. I love that. So, yeah.
Okay, my next pick is kind of a joke, but I really believe in them, that they're going to disappoint. I think that the Eagles are going to disappoint.
Good. I thought you were going to say the Saints, and I was, which it's not a terrible pick, but you would be roasting me, and that's unacceptable on my show.
Yeah, so the reason why I picked the Eagles is because, if you know me, I am a big Nick Foles fan. And
oh no! Don't even start to convince me that that Nick Foles is better than Carson Wentz, because that's blasphemous.
Let me go on. In the last 2 seasons, Nick Foles has been there in the postseason. It wasn't Carson Wentz; it was Nick Foles. And to Nick Foles, for Eagles fans, he was Santa. I mean, he delivered in the postseason. And
yeah, so he delivered by scoring 14 points against the Saints or whatever. Only 18 points or something against the Bears. Would you call that delivering?
He delivered by winning the Super Bowl against the Patriots.
Yeah, that was 2 years ago.
He still delivered.
Okay, he delivered for 4 games.
Mm-hmm. And that was when he was most under pressure in the postseason.
So let's be very, very clear. Who's a better quarterback, Nick Foles or Carson Wentz?
I would take Nick Foles.
You can leave this show. Thank you for watching. This has been Into Sports. I don't even know what I'm going to say. I don't know what to say to you right now. I am looking at you, and I'm rethinking why I asked you to come on this podcast.
Well, thanks for having me, Evan.
Let's go back through our draft choices. So let's just recap the draft choices here. I took the Browns, the Rams, and the Chiefs as regression candidates for 2019, and Neelay took the Seahawks, Cowboys, and Eagles. Interesting mix of pretty good teams, actually. And that's really going to round out today's show. I hope you subscribe, if you're new. And have a great day. I'm Rose 7.
I'm Neelay.
This is Into Sports, and we're out. Peace.